Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Florida.
Last day in Cincinnati. And you know what? Fingers crossed, so far, no delays. Baseball ready to go. Great American ballpark. Yeah, there was rain this morning. But look at this. The tarp is off. The field's ready. Crowd is just arriving. And the temperature is expected to rise as the game goes along. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Now, the Marlins in this series have won two. They have survived long delays, Reds bats, leadoff walks, all of that. And have two wins, and it's been impressive to watch.
If I were going to say one thing really stands out to me, the bullpen. The bullpen's did just such a fantastic job in this series. You think of the trouble that they've kind of had to deal with, maybe a little bit of trouble that they put themselves in, but they've needed to make big pitches throughout both of these first two games, and they've come through clutch. Real nice wins. Ramos saves both of them. Impressive bullpen stuff, especially when you consider you lose one of your key guys in Phelps, who got traded just before this series opened up.
In this ballpark, we talked at the outset about home runs and the expectations. And you know what? JT Realmuto hit a couple yesterday. He gets the day off. But the Marlins have been impressive, and especially Justin Bour, because they haven't been swinging from their heels.
Well, I think Justin Bour has just had a fantastic series, and it's a continuation of his July. It's just what he continues to do in using all fields. Remember back in Game 1, he had a couple base hits the other way, including a double down the left field line, just a rocket. How about last night, Rich? Two great bad bats, sinking, forcing fastballs down in the zone, drives them back through the middle. I mean, he's not just, getting his hits. I mean, he's hitting these balls, we're talking exit velocity, and just doing a lot of damage here. So, again, a consistent bat in the middle of the lineup. He's getting on at a 400 clip this month. He's slugging well. He's been a mainstay in the middle of this lineup and very, very consistent.
Looks relaxed. Looks like he's having fun, and why not? Let's talk pitching in this one. Tom Kohler gets the baseball here on a Sunday as Miami goes for the sweep.
I think the big key for Tom today is to avoid that big inning. You go back and look at his 3 starts since returning to the rotation, and really, that's it. I mean, you can find glimpses of good and improvement, as Tom talked about when he came back up here, and the consistency that he's been searching for, but he has had those moments where an inning or two gets away from him. Go back to the Phillies start, 4 solid innings out of the 5, but 1 really bad inning. So if he can avoid that today here in Cincinnati, I think he'll put himself in a good position to win a game.
And the Reds are going with a young pitcher as well, trying to prove himself here in the big leagues. He certainly is not a finished product. He is Sal Romano.
Yeah, Romano is a work in progress. He's got a big arm, a big fastball. They continue to rave about him. He's their number 8 prospect in the organization, making only his 4th start, but he's a 2-pitch guy, Rich, so it's going to be interesting. The Marlins a lot of times will feast on guys like this if you can eliminate one of those extra secondary pitches. Well, he only comes in with 2. He's basically a fastball and a slider guy. He's thrown only 3 changeups all year, so we'll see what the Marlins can't get done.
Well, we'll see. Marlins are going for a sweep. That hasn't happened here since 2003. And big opportunity for the Fish today. Tom Kohler talks pitching yesterday. Jessica Blaylock caught up with him. It's Tom Kohler and the Fish in Cincinnati against the Reds. down the Ohio. Looks like a nice day over in Kentucky as well. Let's go down to the field and see how it is down there, Jessica Blaylock.
It is definitely warm down here on the field, Rich. Hey, Tom Kohler on the mound for this series finale between the Reds and the Marlins. Here is TK on his approach for pitching in what is widely regarded as a very hitter-friendly ballpark.
The plan is to, keep the ball on the ground, and when you get ahead of guys, put them away and try to limit the damage that way. It's a park where walks and mistakes can really come back to haunt you. So you want to just, do the best to get ahead of guys, put them away when you have the opportunity, and try to limit the damage. And if you get in a situation where there's guys on, you just want to go out there and try not to let the big inning happen.
You said when you came back up, look, I just want to do whatever I can to help this team. What's the process been like coming back up, and what have you kind of taken away from it so far?
It's tough to judge anything just off of 3 games. So I feel better. I feel like I'm attacking a lot more. My stuff feels good, and now we just got to get some things to bounce in maybe the opposite direction and rattle off some good quality starts, and that's the plan. I said after my last start that at this point in the year, what happened in the past doesn't matter at all. You can't fix a season in one outing. So the plan is to just go out there as long as I can, as long as they let me pitch, and try to keep the team in, because we got to win as many games as we possibly can in a short period of time.
And the good news for Kohler, the numbers do favor him. He has a career ERA of 1.88 against the Reds. As you can see, A.J. Ellis going to catch for him today. JT Realmuto with the day off. Hey, look, no tarp, no rain. That means coming up next, it is first pitch in this series finale between the Marlins and the Reds. The Fish have won 2 straight. They are looking for the sweep here in Cincinnati. Rich Waltz and Todd Hollinsworth will have the call next.
Brought to you by Jeep, by Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at www.vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Marlin fans here in Cincinnati. Moments ago, there were kids on the field for every position. And this fan, it looked like the umpire was advising this youngster. Here.
Take that, you Marlin.
All in good fun. All right, Southwest brings you the lineup. D. Gordon digging in, Giancarlo second, Yelich, Bohr, and Dietrich. A.J. Ellis gets a start. You can see he's up in the 6th spot. Ichiro a start out in left field. Miguel Rojas is at short, hitting 8th, and Tom Kohler hits 9th. And here we go as the Fish look for a sweep. Sal Romano, the 23-year-old out of Southington, Connecticut, the rookie right-hander. Big guy, yeah, 6'5", 270.
Here is your Auto Nation scouting report. You're absolutely right. 6'5", 270. He is a big guy. 23 years old. Okay, opportunity knocks once again for Sal Romano, known for his big fastball. He's got it. Ranks very high in the organization. In fact, he's their number 8 prospect. But he is only making his 4th career start today. Walk this way. 12 innings here at the big league level, 10 walks. So control and command has been an issue for him. Pair that with the fact he only has 2 pitches, the fastball and the slider, and in fact has only thrown a changeup 3 times in those 3 starts. So he does have an advantage in the unknown, and that's really what it comes down to. Does this Marlins lineup do some damage against him the first time through? His last start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, he was pretty good. Then he ran into trouble in the 5th. See if the Marlins can't do a little bit more damage early in this ball game and get into that Reds bullpen.
These numbers, the on base at 334, 290 average, 3 hits in this series. And deep bunts with 2 strikes. Gorgeous. And a base hit. When you've got the confidence that you can get it down with 2 strikes, you get it down, it's a hit.
2-strike bunting. I mean, there's really no defense for it. Cincinnati Reds aren't on guard for this. So for D. Gordon, as soon as he gets this down, he knows all he's got to do is get down the line. He's got himself a base knock to start off the ball game. First 2 games of this series, he has reached with a base hit. He has scored both times.
34 stolen bases, and Gordon back with a dive. You got Giancarlo Stanton up. Tucker Barnhart is a very good catch and throw guy behind home plate. Very high caught stealing percentage, not only this year but in his career. And the big man Romano trying to keep Gordon close.
Well, and that may be just why he's paying so much attention to him already. Don't forget about the big guy in the box, but 6'5", 270 pounds. Probably takes a little time to get it home.
Gordon runs, big jump. Stanton takes Barnhart's throw, and it's off the glove of the second baseman, Scooter Gennett. There's stolen base number 35 for D. Gordon.
Well, as you would expect. Big jump, head first slide. Nice job by D. Gordon. Romano very slow to the plate. D. Gordon took full advantage of that. Off and running.
Pulls even with Trey Turner. Of course, Billy Hamilton, who's out in center, has 6 more than Gordon. Now Stanton fires at a fastball and fouls it back.
Well, you remember in last night's ball game, D reached, stole his way around to third base, and came in to score on a hard hit ground ball. Giancarlo Stanton to put the Marlins in the lead.
That's right. Stole second, stole third. Reds trying to keep him close out at second base. And Stanton takes a fastball high. Reds have kept Stanton in the ballpark. Last night, the home run finally a factor, and it was JT Realmuto pumped 2 into the upper tank in left center field. Realmuto home runs number 9 and 10. Stanton swings and misses. Slider 2-2. Yelich on deck, Justin Bour in the cleanup spot.
Cincinnati Reds have allowed 69 runs on this homestand. Their pitching has been decimated. Starters, relievers, everybody giving it up. 1-8 going into this final game.
Stand a ground ball to the right side. Gordon's on his way to third. And Diaz 90 feet away, and here comes Christian Yelich.
Let's take a look at the Reds defensively. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler back in at right field. Suarez, Cozart, Gennett, Votto, Barnhart back behind the plate with Romano on the mound. Very good defensive team. You see their fielding position. In fact, 2 of the best defensive teams in the National League going at it today, the Marlins and the Reds.
Infield's back. Yelich has knocked in a couple runs in this series, and he fouls the pitch off. The only guy on the grass is Suarez at third. Votto's deep, Jeanette's deep, Cozart's deep. So if Yelich can get it past the mound here, Miami will have a 1-0 lead. Got that slider and buried it under the hands. Counts 0-2. Pitches up. Marlins last night saw a rookie right-hander in Robert Stevenson. They get another young pitcher here in Sal Romano. One-two to Yelich. And Yelich strikes out.
We've seen the Cincinnati Reds try to get Marlins hitters out, including last night with Stevenson. Sano himself as well. 96 miles an hour elevated. Foul tip into the glove of Barnhart by Christian Yelich.
So a big out for Romano, and now if Miami's going to get anything out of this inning, you got Justin Bour with 2 outs. Derek Dietrich is on deck. Reds have employed the same shift against Bour with the 2 infielders on the right side over, and the shortstop Zach Cozart not quite on the first base side. And you see where the second base umpire is standing, Bruce Dreckman. That's the lane that Bour has used for a few hits in this series. Fastball sliders, that's what Romano has featured to these 2 lefty bats, Yelich and Bour.
Well, very similar pattern to Stevenson, except Stevenson last night was using that split finger fastball, probably a little bit more than the slider, but you've already seen the pattern so far. Elevated fastballs, pitches, breaking pitches down in the zone. You see Barnhart calling for it down, way down by the feet.
Check swing. Bour did not go. D. Gordon helping with the call at third. Gordon had both his hands up and then spun around to Mike Everett.
Always enjoy a little help.
1-2 to Bour. He had to have Barnhart get the back gate down and make sure he's blocked that ball with Gordon at third base. D chatting with the third base umpire, Mike Everett. I don't think it was Everett. May have been Bruce Dreckman who had that young fan along with D right before first pitch. Bour waiting, and Romano with a 2-2. Again, Romano has been able to get that slider in on both Bour and on Yelich.
Well, he's stayed aggressive. That's what he's really tried to do. Everybody, including D. Gordon, you've seen it all throughout this. Yelich, Stanton, working the fastball in, elevated, in the hard slider to go along with it. Almost an aggressiveness. Not letting the top of this Marlins lineup get their arms extended. Really want to crowd them. See that big fastball that he has? He's been using it an awful lot.
Bour fights off a 97-mile-an-hour elevated fastball. Nothing, not even inner half of the plate. Everything is either on the edge or in on his hands.
Well, and that's been the pattern. You go back to last night's ball game, almost organizationally speaking, to the young pitchers in Stevenson now and Romano. crowd these guys. Both have not had a whole lot of success at the major league level, so they want them to be real aggressive against this Marlins lineup.
Wants it in here. We're doing a nice job of fending off these pitches. The count 2-2.
Well, and the risk that you run here in this situation, and granted he's throwing 96 miles an hour with that slider, is that you put all the hitters on point. When you crowd the inside part of the plate as much as they are, you make yourself prone to making a mistake out over the plate. But now you've got particularly the left-handed hitters thinking pull. I've got to be a little bit quicker. I've got to get the barrel out because I'm being rushed with 96 on my hands. If he misses out over the plate, Justin Bour will be in a great spot to do some big-time damage.
Slider in. It almost looks like Bour just a bit has moved out in the box.
Well, trying to give himself maybe a little bit more space, but again, that's the risk you run if in fact you pitch to one side of the plate and you make a mistake. You put hitters on point, so that mistake you usually end up paying for it big time.
3-2. He got him. Breaking ball and a good one. So Romano strikes out Yelich and Bour and leaves Gordon at third. And now Tom Kohler gets the baseball as the Fish and the Reds head to the bottom of the first. Southwest Airlines brings you the Reds lineup. Billy Hamilton at the top of the order. Zach Cozart, Joey Votto, both All-Stars. Adam Duvall was last year. All these guys can hit home runs as well. Scooter Jeanette's popped 16. Eugenio Suarez has hit 15. Scott Schebler's hit 22. Tucker Barnhart's in the 8th spot, and Sal Romano hits 9th. And here is Tom Kohler.
Making his 12th start of the season. You see the ERA obviously a little bit up there at 7.92. It's come down a little bit over his last 3 starts. Did have the first rough one in Milwaukee, but his last start against the Philadelphia Phillies, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs. And as I mentioned in the open, one bad inning, and it's kind of plagued him his last 2 starts where he's gotten himself into some trouble, was made to pay for that trouble, but the rest of the start was actually pretty good. A couple starts ago against the Cardinals had 7 strikeouts.
Hamilton to right, hits it well. Stanton after it, and in the gap makes the catch. Giancarlo had to shift gears a bit once he started after that ball. It kind of zipped up into that alley, and he runs it down and keeps the speedy Hamilton off base.
A bit of a weird flight pattern on that ball as it kind of drifted more towards the gap. All right, here's the defense for the Miami Marlins today. Suzuki gets the start in left field for Marcell Ozuna. Yelich, Stanton, Dietrich is your third baseman. Rojas, Gordon, Justin Bour, A.J. Ellis. Marlins 11-7 when he's behind the plate. Tom Kohler on the mound.
Here's Zach Cozart. Now the Reds have been giving Cozart off days every 2 or 3 days. Play a couple games, get an off days. Nursing a quad injury. Despite that, we've seen him not only both games, but here on a day game after a night game. He walked 3 times last night. Also had a triple. Swings and misses there. It's 1-2. Kohler working with A.J. Ellis. They haven't worked a whole lot together. And Tom, oddly enough, who's been in the Marlins rotation for some time, has not started a game here in this ballpark. Bouncer to third, and it's by Dietrich and into left field. Ichiro picks it up. Cozart is aboard. That brings up Joey Votto.
Two-strike hitting for Cozart. Top spin ground ball past the diving Dietrich. See that hop right there? It accelerated through the infield to get past Dietrich, ticketed for left field. Reds have a runner on for Joey Votto, who is struggling. Boy, is he struggling in this series. 0 for 3 last night, 2 walks, struck out 1 time. 0 for 7 in the series with 3 Ks. Really been struggling with the breaking ball.
Joey Votto has had a quiet series and a quiet post All-Star break week.
No homers, no RBIs in the second half.
But those 26 homers, a career high before the break for a guy who's compiled an incredible amount of numbers in his career. There's your first half. Now that's not split right down the middle with 81 games on either side, but still gives you a pretty good indication that Votto's having quite a year.
Certainly is, and anybody who knows Joey Votto, he will find it. Just not today is what you would prefer.
Remember the year that Votto tried to play through a lower, I guess it was a leg injury, and his home run totals suffered. Last year, though, he hit 29. He hit 408 after the All-Star break last year. 408. That doesn't happen. I mean, you think about the quest to hit 400 and the guys in the last 30 years that were close. George Brett, Rod Carew. So 408 over a half of a season is not easy to do.
Not in this day and age. Bullpen usage, seeing 3 different guys a day, really.
Two and Votto fouls it off. And of course, it's always an interesting discussion because Votto is more of a modern day player than, say, a guy from the Big Red Machine. Critics often point to the fact that he doesn't drive in runs. Supporters point to the fact that he takes a lot of pitches. He gets on base. He's not somebody that tries to do more than he can. Choking up on the bat with a 2-2 count. I think he went, and he did. And Votto strikes out, and it's been a frustrating run for Votto over the last week. He's 0 for 8 in this series. Here comes Adam Duvall. Good pitch by Tom Kohler.
Yeah, certainly is at the top of the strike zone. 95-mile-an-hour fastballs a couple different times. Combination of fastballs and curveballs. I was thinking back to last night, and I almost had this thought in my mind that Joey Votto would come into today probably looking for breaking balls, as many good breaking balls as he saw last night. So what's Tom Kohler do? Rushes him with the fastball, and you see how behind he was on that 95 2 different times.
Duvall, big left fielder. 20 homers, 0 for 6 in this series. See the slugging percentage, healthy slugging percentages up and down this Reds lineup. It's a team that has certainly been built for this ballpark. Very small, a lot of homers, and a lot of offense. There's a strike.
Ball 0 for 6 in the series with 4 strikeouts.
The Reds have hit as a team 180 home runs. In the National League,
top of the list. The Washington Nationals 199. The Dodgers at 196. Arizona's actually one ahead at 197. Those are the elite home run hitting teams. Little pop. Gordon's out. Stanton's in trouble, and it lands for a hit. Reds at first and third. Cozart all the way to third. Duvall stops at first.
This finds grass. Certainly not crushed. Just a lazy short pop fly to right. Over D. Gordon's head and in front of Giancarlo Stanton. Sets up a first and third situation here in the first for the Reds. Getting back to what the Marlins staff, particularly the bullpen, they've been outstanding this series. Been able to really do a nice job of controlling Votto and Duvall. You're actually getting into the spot in the lineup where Suarez and Jeanette done a lot of damage as far as getting hits and being nuisances. Jeanette 2 for 4 yesterday, his 55th RBI, 3 for 7 in the series. He's riding a 4-game hitting streak.
And he, of all the Reds, believe it or not, has the most experience against Kohler. You see it there, 4 for 11, 364. We told you Tom Kohler's made just 2 starts against the Reds. Back in 2014 and then last year. Both of those were in Miami. Jeanette liner, and Rojas is there, and he'll make the catch. And Kohler gets out of the first. This ball game underway. Gray skies above, no wet stuff yet on a Sunday in Cincinnati. In 2003, Riverfront Stadium was right next door. That, of course, had so much history with the great run of the Reds. Crosley Field up until the 70 season, home of the Reds. Here in Cincinnati, I still remember that big red machine. Our Tony Perez, obviously a big part of that. He's got his statue here. Derek Dietrich against Sal Romano, A.J. Ellis, and Ichiro all get the at-bats against this big righty. Now, Romano is from Southington, Connecticut, and that rings a bell for sure if you're a Marlin fan. And for you, one of your teammates back in the 2003 World Series championship year, Carl Pavano. That's Pavy's hometown. And that's where Pavano went to high school as well. Rob Dibble of the Nasty Boys, and the latest Reds World Championship, also from Southington. Dietrich laid on that, and it's 2-2. 1990. Dietrich with a looper, and it falls for a hit. Nestles into left field. Miami's leadoff man is aboard here in the second. Of course, the Reds and the Marlins, this is a long stretch of 7 of 10 games. Reds are in for 4. And the last game of that series at Marlins Park, it's a 1:10 start on Sunday. The Aquafina Family 4-pack at $84 gets you 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all beef hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks, or an Aquafina water. And for tickets, go to marlins.com/Aquafina. Ellis now. AJ takes a fastball. Marlins ran on Romano in the first. D. Gordon with a big jump. Ellis checking down the line. AJ got the start on Wednesday in that game against the Phillies. Slow tapper out towards short. Cozart approaches, and his only play is at first. And that's going to bring Ichiro to the plate. With Marcell Ozuna getting the afternoon off. Ichiro a start and left. Had a pinch hit yesterday. Keeps climbing up the hit charts.
Yeah, nice pinch hit at bat last night. In fact, with 2 strikes, 98, and drove it the other way. 1 for 2 on the trip.
.3,057 hits. He's blown right past Ricky Henderson. He's got Craig Biggio up next.
Might be able to get that done this afternoon with a big day.
As well, he ranks 23rd all time in terms of hits. He's 44th all time on games played in Major League history. That's out. You can hear the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel, yelling that. The guy that he's chasing for all-time games played is a bit of a surprise, and I think a very underappreciated, underrated player because of where he played. Steve Finley, 43rd place, played in 2,583 games.
Astros and Padres.
Diamondbacks as well.
Well, I was just thinking the bulk of his career. But you're right, yes. A lot of games out west. In fact, if I remember correctly, doesn't he have a big grand slam with the Dodgers? I think it was a big spot about, I think it got him into the playoffs maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Romano having trouble getting to the plate with Ichiro. Only count 3-1. You would expect with the Marlins in Texas, Ichiro will get a start or 2 in the outfield with the designated hitter. And the thing we've seen with Ichiro this year is his at-bats improved dramatically with playing time. With regular at-bats, it seems that he'll get a couple of starts, and then the next week his pinch hitting appearances much sharper.
Well, nothing terribly unique about that. Certainly Ichiro gets it. The more he plays, the better he's going to be. But again, this is a very, very talented starting Marlins outfield who have been sucking up most of the at-bats this year.
Ichiro deep count, walks, and it's going to bring Rojas to the plate with 1 out. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Homes for Our Troops, building mortgage-free, specially adapted homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. You can learn more about how Homes for Our Troops is rebuilding lives. Please visit foxsportsupports.com. Rojas in the box. Tom Kohler is up next. Couple hits for Miguel in the series. If you haven't followed the team over the last week and you're saying, whoa, I thought JT Realmuto was the starting shortstop. He is. He has some tendonitis in his shoulder, and so Rojas has been getting the start this week. Outfield is not very deep. And that's twofold in that there's a look at Riddle and his numbers. This is not a big ballpark, and so outfielders are going to play closer to the plate than they will at, say, Marlins Park or others. And with Rojas up, they're even shorter. Look how shallow Billy Hamilton is in center field. There's your dimensions. Count 0-2. Rojas, a little ground ball. Votto cuts it off, shovels it out there, and safe at first. Nifty work. The Reds are a good defensive team, though at times in this series they haven't shown it. Votto and Cozart almost combining on a 3-6-1 double play.
Rojas likes 2 strike counts. He's actually very good at them. Almost gets one through the right side. Votto cuts across the infield, underhands to second base. Look at this long underhand. Almost able to turn that into 2, but Rojas hustling down the line.
So now you've got Kohler with 2 outs. Looked like Kohler was trying to take a shot to the right side.
On a fastball.
That's 0-1.
He got a slider.
Boy, is there no honor in amongst starting pitchers here? Kohler gets 2 sliders.
He's throwing 96 as well, pretty regularly. TK jumped in the box probably thinking, all right, I'm getting the 96, 97, and he gets a couple of hard sliders.
Well, which pitch for a guy like Kohler, which pitch is tougher to hit?
Oh, probably the slider. You see it out of Romano's hand. It's a good pitch. I mean, again, he's throwing it for strikes today, and it's, you know, when you see somebody who's only made 3 starts at the big league level, there's an element of unknown. As I said, that's actually third key in the Auto Nation scouting report, is that the Marlins team has not seen him.
That's strike 3, outside corner. That was the express. Miami left one at third in the first. They leave another here in the second.
trick is to find the perfect spot for a good photo opportunity, and here at Great American Ballpark, it's right outside the main concourse where Mr. Red and Rosie Red are hanging out. Now, normally I try not to go on camera with Rosie Red because I think she's prettier than me and I don't like that, but Rich, I know you're a fan, so today I'm gonna make an exception. All right, let's do this. There it is. That's going to be a keeper.
Well, look, I mean, if you want me to arrange a photo op with the real Rosie Red, I think I can make that happen. But good work nonetheless. Tom Kohler made the last out. He was a little late getting back out to the mound. As the Marlins and the Reds finish off a 3-game series, Miami's won the first 2. Let's give you a little T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Nice organ music. Bryce Harper hit his 25th, and he's hitting in 15 straight now at a clip of 458. And Washington beat Arizona. That's a fun series between the Diamondbacks and the Nationals. A walk-off, the first one for Francisco Lindor. And Domingo Santana, the Brewers really needed that ball game, and they end a 6-game losing streak and beat the Phillies 9-8. Cubs are right on their tail. In the air, foul and out of play, and of course getting closer to the trade deadline. This is Eugenio Suarez. Tim Healy in the Sun Sentinel today with an article with quotes from Michael Hill, president of baseball operations. And I'll read right from the article. The Marlins intend on retaining their best players until the team's ownership situation clears up. That, in the words of Michael Hill on Sunday. This is Hill's quote. It's been fairly consistent with people checking in to see where we're at, to see if we are maybe open to expanding the players we're talking about. We just tell them who's in play and other guys are not. Hill says he has no intentions of trading anyone in that young core group. Guys like Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna, Real Muto, Straley, and Justin Bour. Of course, the Marlins did trade David Phelps 4 days ago, and so this has been an interesting series to see who would take his spot. And it's been Junichi Tazawa, who looked sharp on Friday. Yesterday, not as much. He was the beneficiary of that line drive double play to get out of trouble in the 8th. And of course, AJ Ramos has been sharp in both those ball games. So is Kyle Bearclaw. Suarez rolls it. Rojas there gets the out. Todd, you and I have talked about the Reds and where they sit.
Well, they have a few players that are in a little bit of a different position than Marlins players. Oh, still quite young and controllable on the Marlins side of things, like a Zach Cozart, for example. He's got free agency looming at the end of the season, so there's always the possibility that the haul of prospects you believe you're going to get back for somebody as talented as Cozart exists. That would obviously be the case for the Marlins, but you are in the middle of a potential ownership change. Hard to imagine some of your most talented and successful players being traded before ownership situation gets itself worked out.
Clark Spencer has a very similar article in the Miami Herald with quotes from Michael Hill.
That was the assumption that I made all along. I didn't.
Ouch. That comes in and hits Scott Schebler.
Breaking ball on the front knee.
Schebler was hit a couple times, wasn't he, the other night?
Yeah.
On Friday night.
One actually went between his legs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was hit twice, both in the lower body, and also walked on his Friday night start. So he's aboard. Kohler had some traffic in the first and third with 2 outs. Scooter Gennett lined out for the last out of that first inning. There's Barnhart.
1 for 3 in game 1, came in as a double switch last night. Doing the bulk of the catching this year for the Cincinnati Reds. And Devin Mesoraco do the duties here.
And of course, Barnhart's playing time increasing the last couple of years as Mesoraco has had to work through some tough injuries, hip and then shoulder. He's had hip and shoulder surgery over the last 2 seasons after an all-star season in 2014. Adam Conley against the Rangers. Marlins in Arlington, Texas. Tomorrow night.
Marlins catch a bit of a break there. Sharp breaking ball in the dirt. AJ will somehow keep that in front. I think it got a piece of everybody.
The only disappointment with the fact that there's no delay was that the Marcell Ozuna show did not air on Instagram today with his co-hosts JT Riddle, D. Gordon, and Nick Wickren.
Would the show have been on if he was getting the day off, though? That's the real question.
Well, the good thing for Ozuna is that he's never been listening to our telecast, so he's never heard the disclaimer.
Right.
So I think legally, if you've never heard the disclaimer, you can disseminate
all you want.
All you want. Count 3-1 to the switch hitting catcher Tucker Barnhart.
Tom Kohler using an awful lot of breaking balls first time through the lineup. We've seen the elevated fastball, almost a very similar pattern to the one the Cincinnati Reds have used against this Marlins lineup. High fastballs, breaking balls down, a very vertical strike zone.
It's ball 4, so a hit batter and a walk down near the bottom of the order. And here is Sal Romano, the big righty, actually hits lefty.
Is that what you call that?
What?
Hitting lefty.
Well, comes to the plate as a left-handed batter. He's still looking for his first big league hit. He has 2 professional hits.
Who was it a week or 2 ago that decided to go up left-handed? We had somebody was a righty, and we got a report like right before the game that he'd be. I think it was Lance Lynn with the Cardinals.
That's right.
Decided to be lefty that day.
Marlins on a wheel play at second. Now the corners are thinking bunt. You've got Dietrich and Bohr on the grass.
Well, he's definitely bunting. The question is, can you get him to bunt it too hard? Bunt into something more than just the sacrifice. That's objectively what you're trying to accomplish here if you're the Marlins. You've got a young pitcher in the box. He's not much of a hitter, has not handled the bat too well professionally, as we saw with the numbers. You know he's bunting in this situation, but can you get him to, number one, pop it up? Can you get him to bunt it into a double play, ideally?
Schebler at second. Barnhart at first. You don't have great speed on the bases. But of course, to put anything in motion, you've got to throw strikes.
Well, that's the key, and that's a big part of it.
You see the ball strike ratio so far in this ball game. This is just bottom of the second. And Kohler with more balls than strikes. There's the bunt. Ellis forced to go to first. And the Reds move the runners up 90 apiece.
Well, for Tom Kohler, fell behind in the count. Settle for giving Romano and the Reds what they wanted, which is the pitch he could drop down a sacrifice bunt on. As you see right here, even left-handed, nice job getting it down. Only play is to first base. So in order to keep this scoreless, Tom Kohler's going to have to pitch his way to the top of this Reds lineup.
Billy Hamilton hit the ball hard to right center.
He's had some of the best at bats in this series for the Reds, all 3 games. 2 for 5 yesterday with a run scored, lined out to right his first time up. Now 2 for 9 in the series, but that is not really indicative of the series he's had. He really has swung the bat very well.
Just like with D. Gordon, the corners have to respect his bunting and speed. You see how tight Dietrich and Bohr are. And of course, with 2 outs, the middle much more relaxed up the middle. And runners at second and third. Kohler had 2 runners on in the first. Got a line drive out to get out of the inning. Knee high strike. That's a hit. Scoring is Shedler. Barnhart right behind him. Stanton's throw to the plate, and he is out. Great catch and tag by A.J. Ellis. Barnhart and Ellis meet at the plate. Brian Price, the Reds manager, is a foot up on the stairs. Here's a look, and we'll take a close look at Ellis. It looked like he had to go into the line to get the ball.
Yeah, and that's the rule. As you know, the catcher is allowed to position himself to wherever he needs to in order to come up with the catch. He gave him a lane to start.
Manager of the Reds has challenged the home plate rule that A.J. Ellis violated the home plate collision rule, and the umpires in New York say he did not. And so Ellis, moving to catch the ball, was in front of the plate when he made the catch. Barnhart clearly out at that point, but the challenge was that he was in the baseline and blocked the plate without the ball. The but you can go in there to receive it if the throw takes you there.
And that's certainly what it does. You see the short hop throw. A.J. Ellis does everything in his power to kind of give himself a little bit more distance on that short hop. He doesn't want to be up in front of it because that's a tough one to catch. Probably would never have caught it. So he buys himself maybe about a foot of space as he steps back to the left side of the foul line and does a nice job blocking it as well after that.
Good throw by Giancarlo Stanton. Nice play, obviously, by Ellis. And so the result is Reds lose their challenge. They do get the 1 run as Schebler scored ahead of Barnhart. Inside Look brought to you by Toyota and the all-new RAV4. 2 speedy leadoff guys in this one. And since 2014, see the infield hits, the stolen bases, bunt hits, and the total runs. And the difference between Gordon and Hamilton essentially has been Gordon's been a better hitter, which has allowed him to get on base more often than Billy Hamilton. Neither guy walks a whole lot. And that's twofold. One, it's not being all that selective, but at the same time, pitchers have a tendency just to pound strikes to both of these guys because they don't want to walk them.
That's what Juan Pierre used to tell me, and it was one of the things he really had to learn how to do. That 2-strike approach is allow the ball to get deep and almost learn how to foul it off. He says, I'm always getting pitches to hit because I don't really possess a ton of power. Guys don't want to walk and put him on base. He certainly understands. I think that's the case for both of these guys a lot of times.
You know, watching that play at the plate, it's interesting how the rule occurred, how it evolved, and the Marlins were an enormous part of both of those processes. Of course, the Buster Posey collision with Scott Cousins in San Francisco, that hue and outcry coming from the Giants on what was then a legal play. Major League Baseball the next year instituted the home plate collision rule. And then that first year, late in the season, in a crucial ball game, it was against the Reds at Marlins Park, and Jeff Mathis at the plate. Gordon, who bunted for a hit, takes a strike. Mathis was the catcher. I believe it was Zach Cozart who was the runner. And in a play very similar to that, where Mathis had to go to the line to get the ball, Cozart was 15 feet away from him. And Cozart, rather than coming into the plate and contacting the catcher, threw his hands in the air and ran right by Mathis, pleading, I did not have a lane. And stunningly, New York agreed. That was a key run. I believe the Marlins had a 1-0 lead at that point. The Marlins lost that game, still in contention that year. And the hue and the outcry from that prompted Major League Baseball to issue, number one, an apology to the Marlins that the interpretation was incorrect. And then Major League Baseball then loosened the interpretations, or maybe sharpened the interpretations, allowing for catchers to go into the line to make the catch. So Miami, part of the process at the very beginning, and then part of the big change in that interpretation a few years ago. That one's out to left field, and Duvall makes the catch.
As it is usually the case in Major League Baseball, and certainly with instant replay and all the technology that's there, the rules that are now being implemented take a little time to get right. Very few instances of right all the way through the first time they're there. And I think where it's at now is in such a better place than where it was originally, and sometimes you got to go through the bumps to get there.
Giancarlo Stanton bounced to second against big Sal Romano. Romano challenging him with a fastball, and it's 0-1. A couple hits for Stanton, a double, an RBI. Of course, he entered this series having homered 9 times in his previous 11 games, including 3 straight games where he homered in the first inning. He doubled in the first inning, his first game here.
Now the Reds have really gotten off that lane. They were the first team to do it. It was so obvious that even I started to question even the approach against Stanton. He was showing such ownership over the inner third of the plate. You think back to game 1, got a slider right about where Barnhart's setting up.
And it's a pop-up. Tosses the bat. Suarez is there. and he makes the catch.
He was showing such ownership on that part of the plate that I couldn't believe anybody was going back in there. But see right there, able to get the pop up.
Who doesn't love burgers and beer, right? July 28th on a Friday night. It's the Reds and the Marlins. You get a juicy burger, a craft beer, and a game ticket, and it starts at just $30. Go to marlins.com/burger to get your ticket, and then you get your burger, your beer, and a ball game. Say, there it is. It's the perfect marriage there. He's got the old school Ron Oster Reds jersey. He's got a burger. He's got the burger on the beer.
I don't know what that does, right?
Maybe that may be a Chris Sabo model Reds jersey.
Keeps the bugs out of your beer.
He's crushing it. Yelich lifts one down the corner, left field side. Duvall coming in, and he slides, and he makes the catch.
Wow.
That's a terrific catch. Adam Duvall almost overran that baseball.
Yeah, a couple of strong catches in foul territory for him in this series. Another nice one right there.
And a 1-2-3. That is a great catch. Third for the Fish.
The Reds Hall of Fame Museum, which is just spectacular. Now, one of the cool things about it, you're always going to be able to learn something new if you come and visit here, because the display on the first floor is constantly changing. The current display right now is how a statue is made, a step-by-step review of transforming a red to a bronze. It's going to show you the actual process of how you create a bronze statue. Now, if you head over with me this way, here are some more details on how our good friend Tony Perez's bronze statue was made. And then, of course, this is what it looks like when it comes to completion. Guys, this place is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And that Tony Perez statue is out right in front of the ballpark. Pete Rose, the latest one. We walked by Joe Morgan on our way out of here to beat the rain last night. There's Pete. Got the glorious hair going. Zach Cozart against Tom Kohler. That opens the bottom of the third. The count's 1-2. Joey Votto, Adam Duvall will follow. Reds got a hit from Billy Hamilton to knock in Scott Schebler. Only run of the game, and Giancarlo Stanton threw out Tucker Barnhart. A great play by A.J. Ellis behind the plate. Rojas bobbles, whips it out at first base. And Cozart, who has a bad quad, has not run well the whole series.
Now this saves Rojas. See that one comes up. I think he'd have much of a chance in Cozart, but remember Cozart pacing himself down the line.
And remember, the Reds have lost their challenge, so they have no ability to challenge that play. What's the bounce as we look at it after this pitch to Joey Votto? Ball took a weird hop on the lip.
That ball got the dirt and stayed down.
Votto fouls it back. Reds are 41-56. They were one of the surprising teams early in late April with a start of right around 500, but they've struggled since.
It's somewhat of a theme for them the last couple seasons, although sometimes typically we'll see that with a team in transition. Spring training is done a little bit differently than the other teams in the division. The Reds were pretty well aware that.
Justin Bour, full out. Kohler there. How about Bour defensively in this series? Made some big plays yesterday, including snaring that double play line drive in the 8th.
Back-to-back outstanding plays. Was able to pick that throw from Rojas and to the backhand on the dive. Kohler getting over, doing his job. Everything about this done right.
For all the humor about donuts, and of course Bour used to wear the shirts and probably still does wear them, about his affinity for the breakfast treat. He got himself in terrific shape, much better mobility, and you can see his fielding percentage just a tick behind Votto's. Kohler goes to work on Adam Duvall.
Said it in relation to other defenders, certainly in regards to their bats. I think it's no surprise when you talk about the two. You see how good he is defensively, and I've raved about Justin Bour's hands. He's got some of the best hands for a big guy as a hitter, but you see it on defense as well. That was a good play right there.
This one should be a little more routine. Bour squeezes it. Kohler goes 1-2-3 in the 3rd. In Cincinnati on a Sunday, there's Tony. That one's headed to where Riverfront used to be. Cincinnati legend, Coors Timeless Moments. On this date in 2000, Tony Perez, Sparky Anderson, Bid McPhee are inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And it was a great weekend to be a Red. Marty Brennaman went in as well with the Ford C. Frick Award, longtime Braves announcer. There's Perez in the '72 World Series against Oakland over at Riverfront. That was a relatively new ballpark at that point in time. Justin Bour takes a strike from Sal Romano. We saw Jessica at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. Bour takes a strike there. It's 0-2. If you're ever in Cincinnati and you like baseball, that is a must-see. All the great Reds history, artifacts. You might find a Marty Brennaman sport coat in there. Maybe a picture of Shotzi. Bour kind of lifts that one down the right field line, and it's going to fall just foul. The Reds, the interesting part about that big red machine, the Reds were the clean-cut team in baseball. Bob Howsam, who was the president of the Reds in the late 60s and the 70s, was a real stickler for no facial hair, black shoes, low socks. They even cleaned up the mascot.
Telling me Charlie Blackmon would have a hard time on that team?
Charlie Blackmon would not, no bueno. In fact, Mr. Red, the mascot, they had to redesign the mascot and take the mustache off the mascot.
Justin Turner, no good?
No. No, anybody in the St. Louis bullpen with one of those beards, you would not see Jack Billingham come out with a long hair and a beard. And of course, the contrast in that '72 World Series was there's the handlebar. Now it's celebrated. See that mascot, no bueno in the '70s. Mr. Red is up on the wall there, and that's the clean-cut Mr. Red legs. Who doesn't have the mustache. Mr. Red legs apparently is the mustache guy, and Mr. Red is clean cut. There you go. Up in the air, and Suarez on the track is there to make the catch. So Bour 0 for 2, and so far Sal Romano has been quite effective.
Well, second time through the lineup. The first time he was really challenging on the inside part of the plate. The second time through the lineup, he's really started away. He's occasionally worked his way back inside, but for the most part has been getting his outs on the outside corner.
I don't think Rosie Red would have passed the muster, so to speak, in the '70s. Now they have Gapper as well. Gapper's like a Muppet with a backwards baseball cap and blue hair. Dietrich fouls it back. So lots of mascots here.
Gapper's a rapper with a G.
There you go. Now I see him in a whole new light.
You should.
He's much cooler now.
Wears his hat backwards.
Dietrich, a 1-1. Two and 1 to Derek Dietrich. Reds have the only run. Line drive right at second base. Jeanette. Marlins are going to go from the Eastern time zone to the Central time zone, and the temperature is going to rise a bit. It's been hot here in Cincinnati, better today. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson, get you ready. South Florida Honda dealers present Marlins Live. Interleague Baseball. Adam Conley starts. Could be a Yu Darvish Ichiro matchup in that series. Darvish is scheduled to pitch on Wednesday. The Marlins will also see Cole Hamels on Tuesday. Straley Hamels on Tuesday. Urania Darvish on Wednesday. And if you don't think, I mean, look, near the end of his career, Ichiro does not command as much coverage as he did earlier in his career. But if Ichiro's in that lineup on Wednesday, that's going to be a big day for all the Japanese media that follow both those players, both here in the United States and obviously those that follow the games, televise the games over in Japan. A.J. Ellis, left field, that's deep, and it's gone. And Ellis has homered and tied the game. And you can hear D. Gordon and Marcell Ozuna as that ball was leaving the yard. He had the big home run in San Francisco, remember, extra innings to beat the Giants. And a very similar swing here in Cincinnati.
Well, by far the hardest hit ball by the Marlins this afternoon. AJ all over 95 miles an hour. The hands through. Drives it out on a line. Where'd he go?
I'm not sure. D's got the lighter going. It is some sort of ceremony. I don't know if he's demanding an encore there with the lighter. But it's big for Ellis. Remember, he's a Kentucky guy, so he's got friends and family in the area for sure.
Good for him. He's swinging the bat in a tie ball game here in the fourth.
Ichiro, sharp ground ball, and Jeanette whips it on over to first. And you can hear the reaction. It's 1-1.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
A.J. Ellis solo homer, 1-1 ball game, bottom four here in Cincinnati. Scooter Gennett, Eugenio Suarez, and Scott Schebler for the Reds. And Tom Kohler even now. Remember, the Reds had a runner thrown out at the plate, Tucker Barnhart. That was a Stanton throw, and a great pick and tag by A.J. Ellis. So Ellis's fingerprints are all over this ball game right now.
Stopped the run from scoring and tied this ball game up with the bat. So a real nice day for A.J. so far.
Ah, some sunshine here.
What is that?
This is when there are no clouds and it's a Sunday. This is one of the brighter ballparks that you'll run into.
Well, it's been gray for the most part the last 2 days we've been here, with clouds and the threat of rain kind of hovering over the city. That sunburst right there got my attention.
See a few speedboats out on the river. That one is up into the bright sky. In anticipation of that, a lot of the Marlin defenders have got sunglasses on. There's your obligatory pleasure boat look.
Heading over to Kentucky.
Heading over to Kentucky with all the fireworks that they didn't shoot off here on Friday. Kentucky had a huge, if you were with us last night, there was about it felt like 20 minutes worth of fireworks across the river late in the night last night. To right, Stanton at the wall. Stanton leaps. Did he get it? No. It's gone. Scooter Gennett has a home run, and the Reds have the lead right back. It even took a while for these fireworks.
And that's the type of home run, Rich, that is at times a little bit more, shall I say, this wouldn't have left all ballparks, and that's maybe the best way to put it. You see it right there in the front row. I think off the bat, we were all surprised it got as far as it did. Carried all the way out. Nice catch by a fan there. Good effort by Giancarlo Stanton. Scooter Gennett did not get all of that. That was not off the barrel entirely. Good swing, good trajectory.
Good play.
It's a great catch. And that's actually a pretty good example of why you see a few more homers at Great American Ballpark than you do in other places around the game. Short wall and right. Say it about at least half the ballparks in the National League, that ball doesn't even get out.
That might be conservative. Kohler misses in. Suarez bounced to short. So the Reds, who had not led at all in the first 2 games, and the numbers bear looking at again. We examined them the first night in. But the number of home runs in this ballpark is tops in the National League. Now, look, some of this is, oftentimes I look at home runs per ballpark. Sometimes it's the team that's in that park.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Plays half the game. And I think with the Yankees and what they got going on, that's part of it.
That is absolutely legitimate, Rich. I mean, if you were to look at, the first thing that you look at the Cincinnati Reds, you say, okay, well, what's wrong with the Reds? They're giving up all these home runs. Well, you also have to go look at what they do on the road. That's compare one to the other. They're 4th in the National League in most home runs given up on the road. What does that tell you? Well, they've got a team that, and we've seen this. They're trying to pitch up in the strike zone. And if you do that, you're going to potentially pay the price if you miss.
2-2. Dietrich across the diamond.
And Stevenson last night was the 14th Reds different starter that they've had in that rotation. They've dealt with injuries. They've had some inconsistency. They've got some young guys. It's a combination of a lot of things that have really factored into it. Not to mention, this is a ballpark where the ball travels particularly well, but you're spot on. It's as much about the pitching as it is you know, the ballpark that you're playing in. Because you go back and look at the last Reds team that went to the postseason, they gave up 170 home runs that season, which is much less than, well, what they did last year.
To right, this one will stay in the yard. Stanton is over there, and Schebler is out. Here comes Tucker Barnhart. Where there are teams too that change the complexion of their lineup, and all of a sudden home runs go up in that ballpark. And so, I mean, Seattle's a pretty good example of that. All of a sudden they wanted to beef up their production 2-3 years ago. So Nelson Cruz, a guy that they added, along with the Robinson Cano, some other bats there. I think the Aaron Judge Sanchez factor at Yankee Stadium have pushed that home run total up. Barnhart out in front. The count's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Back changeups from Tom Kohler, both effective pitches. Barnhart sitting on that fastball, fooled by the lack of velocity. Good arm action. Arm side run on that last changeup.
So on to Dallas for Miami, and the Rangers will be converging on the Metroplex at the same time. Texas is in St. Pete. Rangers and Rays are 2-2, bottom 4. Bottom 4 here. And Kohler with a fastball strikes out Barnhart. But the Reds strike. 17 homers already this year for Scooter Gennett. It's 2-1. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep, by Hankook Tires. Chase down your passion, never halfway, and by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Little Joe Morgan, out of the entrance of the Great America Ballpark. And Marlin fans here. We've seen a lot of Marlin caps and jerseys in and around downtown Cincinnati. Miguel Rojas in the box. Marlins go 8-9-1 against Sal Romano. Some people look at Romano and say, well, he was a 23rd round pick in 2011. he was kind of a hidden gem, and that's not quite accurate. He had a scholarship offer to go to the University of Tennessee. That's where he was headed. And the Reds drafted him in that round, hoping they could entice him with money to forego college, and he did. Gave him a sizable signing bonus. So don't always look at the draft position and assume.
Changeup a work in progress, but I'll tell you, the first two, his primary pitches, his slider and his fastball, are big league quality. He's had a pretty good game plan against the Marlins today. Came out, established the inside part of the plate to both the lefties and the righties, stayed real aggressive that first time through. Started working outside a little bit more the second time through.
Fish would love to get Rojas aboard here and allow Kohler to bunt. Rojas a couple hits in the series. High chopper, Suarez to his left, and it throws Rojas out. So Kohler comes to the plate with one out and nobody on base. Ball games going on in baseball on this Sunday. All the East Coast games are off and running. The significant one in the National League is in the bottom of the third that's underway, and that's Milwaukee and Philly. They're scoreless. Milwaukee holding a game lead over the Cubs in the Central. Phillies have just asked the Marlins, been playing better this last week, and they've given the Brewers all they can handle. And Kohler takes outside. Late ball game last night in Seattle, and David Phelps played an important role in Seattle's 6-5 win over the Yankees in 10 innings. Kohler swings and misses. Phelps an inning in the third of scoreless with 2 strikeouts. He followed Steve Cishek in the ball game. Cishek pitched the 6th. Phelps had the 7th. And that game ended up going 10. Here's Gordon now, who started his day by getting kicked in the shins by a young Reds fan. Although it did look like there was some prompting from the first base umpire, Jordan Baker.
Sign my ball. No. Wait a minute. I forgot to get your autograph.
Oh, 2. Halfway swing. Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. Singles. Enter Inciarte, D. Gordon, DJ LeMahieu. How many Altuves would it take? Melky Cabrera of the White Sox. Gordon strikes out. Sal Romano looks sharp. The A.J. Ellis homer, the only run right now for Miami. And a 2-1 Reds lead.
American Ballpark. This is an area that highlights the importance of scouting in Major League Baseball. On this wall right here are the 5 tools: hitting for power, hitting for average, fielding, throwing, and running. Then, if you take a look at this wall over here, there's a chart describing the whole ball player, those things that can be seen, and then of course those intangibles like personality and attitude. And then finally on this wall over here, a perfect example of a 5-tool player, Barry Larkin. You can see all of his stats in each individual category.
Very cool. Intangibles. Tom Kohler throws a strike. This is Sal Romano, 9-1-2.
Well, you could say the model player, or you could say Hall of Famer.
Tough to live up to that guy. He did everything well.
He did, and I competed against him for a long time. And kid hit. He changed games with his glove. He changed games with his legs. He changed games with his bat. I was watching the video that they had up on the board yesterday. He took a fastball at his eyes and lined it down the right field line. Unbelievable.
Gordon on to first, and Romano is out. Here comes Billy Hamilton. Had a couple homers in this ball game, couple solo shots. Scooter Gennett. That's the difference in the game. It made it 2-1. A.J. Ellis for Miami tied the game at 1. Hamilton's lined out and has an RBI single. Marlins and Reds 4 more times, and it's coming up starting Thursday night in Miami. It's a 4-game series. And there's no, at that point, there'll be no secrets. Both teams have seen each other.
I was thinking this about an inning ago. We're going to see each other now, what, 7? I think it's 7 times in the next 10 days. Well, obviously the first 2 games of the series have been played, but the offensive part of this was supposed to be here at Great American Ballpark. It's going to be interesting if it flips around and the 4-game series down in Miami turns into the offensive part of this matchup.
Don Mattingly against the Reds. This, of course, was Don Mattingly's team growing up in Evansville, Indiana. This is the team that he rooted for. I told you that story the other night about playing in the backyard. He always wanted to be the Reds. His first major league game that he ever attended was actually in St. Louis. He says that he only went to 2 major league games before signing with the Yankees. Hamilton around first. Stanton up with it quickly. Billy Hamilton with a 1-out hit.
Second hit of the ball game. 3 quality at bats today against Tom Kohler.
It's always interesting, and you live in a place like Miami or Cincinnati. You take it for granted that you're going to watch big league baseball, but there are some parts and some places and some major leaguers modern day who never went to a major league game before they played in one.
You live far enough away, you're right.
There's Cozart, and now certainly the struggle is going to be, can you keep Billy Hamilton from stealing second base? He bluffs. Kohler's pitch is up. 40 bags. He's been caught 7 times. Hamilton runs. Ellis's throw, and he's in there.
Hamilton picks a good pitch to run on. Breaking ball, 1-0 breaking ball. Not a bad catch and release by A.J. Ellis. Gets rid of it pretty quick. Good throw. He's got himself a pretty good jump and a good curveball to run on.
So in scoring position, Cozart with the count 2-0. 75 pitches in is Tom Kohler. Last night for Miami, it was a bullpen scramble, so to speak. Chris O'Grady just couldn't get through the fifth. Nick Wickren, Arlen Garcia, Kyle Bearclaw, Junichi Tezawa, and A.J. Ramos. So the deeper the better for Tom Kohler today. He's 3-0 on a guy that can hit it out of the ballpark. Zach Cozart with Joey Votto on deck. Lots of speed, tough guy to throw out on a base hit. A lot more sunshine in the ballpark now than when this thing started. It was close.
Well executed by Tom Kohler and D. Gordon. Good timing.
It's always interesting to watch a base stealer try to hold another base stealer because they know the nuances of swiping that bag, extending the lead, sometimes getting a rolling start. See, he was starting, and there he goes. Pitches a ball, throw to third, safe. So at the corners now after ball 4.
Strong jump by Billy Hamilton. As he steals his way around the bases. Bit of a high throw. As you saw, was able to get that walking lead out at second base.
And as a result, you've got Votto now with runners at first and third, though Votto has had a frustrating series.
He's robbed of a base hit his last time up by Justin Bour. Nice play over at first.
That frustration usually doesn't last for Votto. He's been a remarkably consistent guy. Ball and a strike. For 9 in the series. He struck out, bounced out, but still 26 home runs. National League All-Star for the 5th time in his career. One and two.
Spot for that knuckle curveball from Tom Kohler. We've seen throughout this series Joey Votto really struggle with the breaking pitch. Just had a hard time tracking the baseball so far this series.
Little tapper. Kohler goes to second and he throws it into center field.
Hamilton was coming home.
There may have been a play there. Kohler wheeled and fired to second, and it ended up in Yelich's glove in center field.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is you want to make this play so fast. Take one more step and you probably get a strong throw to second, and you see it. Doesn't get his shoulders turned all the way to second base and airmails it into center field. Watch this. One more step towards the target, throws it flat-footed, and that's why it sails on him.
Boy, that's the exit of the inning right there. If you can get it to Rojas and turn it, it was not only the proper place to throw, but you could hear the directions coming from Ellis saying 2-2.
They had a chance to get it turned. Sometimes very difficult as a player to kind of channel your emotions in those big moments when you get a chance to turn a big double play, but everything's got to be done perfectly. It's got to be done smoothly, and Tom Kohler did a nice job fielding the ball and was in position, just threw the ball to second flat-footed and sailed on him.
It's going to be a fielder's choice with an RBI and an E1. Reds have their third run, and they're threatening for more with Duvall up. Votto's at first. You got Cozart at third now. Duvall singled in the first, has popped out. Kohler with that breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-2. Four pitches in. Still just one out here in the fifth. I don't know about you, but this is not how I envision this series going at all. Starting on Friday night with the struggles that both the rotations have had, stringing together quality starts, the power that both teams had in their lineup, and then mix that in with a warm weekend in this ballpark.
Shot by A.J. Ellis right there, keeping that slider in front. It's basically been the opposite of almost anything you would have expected other than this. Both offenses really just got off to slow starts in the second half. I think part of it we would have attributed the Marlins going up against some good pitching. But again, the offense a little slow to get in gear for the Reds on this 10-game homestand. Almost amazing that they've only been able to score almost just over 20 runs. As talented as an offense as they have. Here's the other thing, Rich. I mean, how about the defense? I mean, we've seen defensive miscues from both of these teams being two of the better defenses in the National League. We've seen missed throws from the Reds. We've seen missed throws from the Marlins as well.
And you were expecting the games to be 10-8.
We thought we'd see great defense and probably a lot more offense. Again, been just about the opposite.
Busted bat, pop up is behind the runner at first, and Bohr makes the catch. Guns N' Roses coming back to South Florida, not in the Lifetime tour, not in this lifetime. This legendary band storms into Marlins Park August 8th. It's your chance to enter the proverbial jungle, or the literal jungle. Get your tickets at marlins.com/GNR.
This is the spot for Tom Kohler and the Marlins, trailing 3-1 here in the 5th inning. Seen that home run in the ball game his last time up, lined out his first time, one of the hotter hitters in this Reds lineup.
Scooter Gennett just got one over the outstretched glove of Giancarlo Stanton and into the first row of seats down the right field line. Gennett, the former Brewer, enjoying a career year here after being waived by the Brewers at the end of spring training. Into right field. That's going to fall for a hit. A run across. Cozart scores. Throw to third. Votto's going to be out by half a week as Dietrich tags him out. Didn't even think about a slide, but the Reds pick up 2 more. It's 4-1. We were there the other day and they asked, where's Minervini? And we said, there's a Skyline Chili, I believe, in South Florida, so maybe he can hit that one. Sal Romano. Oh, yeah, that's right. We missed him at Holtman's Donuts. Now, John Solser, our producer, handled the truck. I handled the booth. Big box of donuts.
Are you implying that Craig missed Holtman's Donuts because he always goes to Holtman's Donuts and gets donuts for everybody?
I'm not implying anything here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just stating facts.
Oh,
Manny Colon, Marlins,
they miss him.
Marlins director of travel, was able to bring donuts to the clubhouse for everybody.
Very nice of him.
Yes.
Craig's not the provider of the donuts.
Well, you're going to have to ask those in the studio that work alongside him.
Oh, I see.
So ask Nelly, ask Preston. Good donuts, too. Holtman's Donuts since 1960. Giancarlo Stanton swings and misses, chasing a slider. And Sal Romano enters the 6th inning with a 4-1 lead, and still plenty of stuff.
There's that hard slider we've seen all game long. 87 miles an hour. Way off the outside corner. Giancarlo Stanton chasing.
Scooter Gennett retires Christian Yelich. And here comes Justin Bour. Well, the two hitters that have had the best approach and the best success in this series, Justin Bour and last night JT Realmuto. Realmuto getting a day off after a sizzling night where he hit two two-run homers, also had a double. Bour's third look at Sal Romano. Bour's pop-up, Barnhart's. Ball and a strike. It will be warm in Texas, no doubt. Bullpen active right now for the Reds.
Justin Bour has had a hard time laying off the elevated fastball from Romano this afternoon. He's defended it, a couple strikes. He's fouled it off a few different times. He's gone down on strikes to it, but it has allowed Romano to work ahead.
Bour sends that one to the upper reaches. It's right now in Dallas, by the way, 97 degrees. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s throughout the week. With the humidity today, the heat index, or it feels like 108 degrees right now.
That's it?
That's it. Not here, but in Dallas. Here, it's cooled down a bit, but this is the first day game of this 3-game series. As we found out the other day, the temperature, it felt like jumped almost 15-20 degrees here on that first day from early afternoon to a scorcher on Friday. 2-2. And Bour strikes out. How about Sal Romano, as he's put 6 in the scorebook? He's punched out Bour twice. 4-1 Cincinnati. Anytime you get Lou Gehrig on the show, it's a good show. Geico presents this date Major League history, 1925. 23 grand slams in an 11-7 Yankees win. He gets the first grand slam of his career. He would hit 23 grand slams. It's funny, he spread those out. And another Yankee first baseman who had his career cut short with a bad back manages the Marlins, and that's Don Mattingly. Mattingly had 6 career grand slams. They all came in the same year. 1987 was the same year that he homered in 8 consecutive games. In that streak of 8 consecutive games, 2 of the home runs were grand slams. Tom Kohler into his 6th inning of work. He's got Eugenio Suarez. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned for Kohler. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a hit batsman. And the walks have been costly. The hit batter costly. He walked Cozart. He ended up scoring in that 5th inning. Remember, he hit Schebler with 1 out in the 2nd, and then walked Barnhart. Schebler scored. Barnhart was thrown out at the plate in the 2nd. Arlen Garcia threw last inning in Miami's pen. High left field, deep. Ichiro at the wall. Ichiro, and it's gone. Suarez with a solo shot. Now both Reds homers have landed in the first row down each line. Jeanette down the right field line, and now Suarez down the left field line.
Yeah, this is typical home run. It's at a high elevation. Slider definitely got underneath it just enough to get it out. It's past the yellow line in left field. It's out in front of it just a little bit. See how well that ball carries to left field.
Seemingly to all fields here in Cincinnati.
It's usually the case, especially during a day game.
Schebler right center field. Yelich calling and catching. And out here in the 6th. How many games did you end up playing in the ballpark in Arlington in your career?
A couple months worth. Went over at the deadline in 2002. Pretty nice little run there. Some big games. We're not a playoff team, although it was a playoff caliber lineup. A-Rods, Pudge, Juan Gonzalez, Carl Everett.
So you actually spent a season and a half as a teammate of Pudge's. You had him in 02 and then in 03 in South Florida.
Both essentially why I finished in Texas, obviously in 02, and both came over to the Marlins in 03.
Tucker Barnhart has walked and struck out.
My first impression, Rich, of the American League at that time in my career was not a good one.
Really?
Well,
pitchers were a mystery. What was
well, I mean, that is certainly part of it. I mean, going from National League to the American League, but I really had a hard time dealing with the time of games. I mean, it was amazing how long the games were in the American League.
And that affected you as a player in what way?
It literally physically affected me. Now, of course, it was the end of the season, and it had been a long year, but I wore down. It was one of the hardest Septembers I ever felt, and the only thing that I can attribute it to was the fact that I had gone to the American League, these games, especially in Texas. You know, you'd mentioned the 108 degrees. You do that every day. And I was kind of one of those guys behind the scenes before it was really maybe frowned upon. I worked really hard behind the scenes, so I would take a lot of extra swings on a lot of extra days and stuff like that in order to stay fresh. Well, little did I know I wasn't staying fresh.
That one to right center. Barnhart deep. And that's gone. Not till the third game of the series do we see the effects of this ballpark.
Lefty curveball from Tom Kohler. 102nd pitch of the day. Up, stays up. Barnhart stays down and through it. Drives it out to right center field.
Reds are going to pinch hit here with Arismendi Alcantara, switch hitting infielder. Fouls that pitch back, and it's 0-2. Reds bullpen active. Michael Lorenzen again. Marlins have seen him already in this series. Fly ball left field, Ichiro over. Alcantara is out number 2. So the Reds are going to go to their pen. They've got a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Kohler trying to finish this inning, which would be obviously advantageous if he could just finish here, and Don Mattingly can start the bullpen wheel rolling in the 7th. Marlins do not have an off day for a while. 3 games in Texas and 4 with these Reds.
Well, you also have to plan and predict for what you believe might happen in Texas. As I just said, a lot of times those games are long. A lot of pitches can be thrown, which can get very, very offensive.
That goes without saying with the ball, especially from the pitching perspective.
Right.
Marlins play the Reds for 4, and then the Nationals for 3 without a day off in there. That's the next homestand. That's a 7-game homestand. Little flare right center, and that falls for a hit. And now you got a Billy Hamilton situation again. He has stolen twice against Kohler.
Picked up his 3rd hit of the ball game.
This week, if you're in Miami, you want to party and watch the game, you can do it at a watch party. Marlins and Rangers, Hialeah Racetrack and Casino in Hialeah. Billy the Marlin will be there. Prizes, special drink deals. Enjoy food as well. Go to marlins.com/appearances. Cozart, the hitter. Florida Lottery brings you a call to the bullpen, and that's it for Tom Kohler. Don Mattingly asks for the baseball. Cincinnati has cracked this one open at 6-1. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the family of Week for Life scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery. Top prize of $5,000 a week every week for the rest of your life. The longer you live, the more you keep winning. That is Winfinity, and you must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Banks of the Ohio. Not quite the city of bridges as Pittsburgh is, but plenty of bridges here in Cincinnati. There's Wickren. Nick takes over for Tom Kohler. And his marching orders are twofold. One, get Zach Cozart. Two, don't let Billy Hamilton steal second.
Sometimes that's easier said than done. Wickren on last night. One of the biggest outs in that ball game. Big strikeout when he entered.
Cozart 1 for 2 with a walk and a single. Hamilton diving back in. Yesterday, the donkey that Joey Votto promised arrived. Cozart's son got to name the donkey, and he's a big Donald Duck fan, so that is now Donald the Donkey. I think Votto may have been relieved that he didn't name the donkey Joey.
I don't know. I think you got to go there. I'm just thrilled that he backed up the donkey with the promise of a goat.
Yeah, that was the one piece of knowledge that I came away with as someone that has owned a goat at one point and not owned a donkey. That donkeys are social animals and that they enjoy having pals around. And Cozart said in his research that they like having donkeys, like having goats around. Right. And so Votto then, without prompting, promised another gift if Cozart got to another All-Star game, and that was some goats for his donkey.
Well, hopefully that comes true next year for Zach Cozart. He becomes an All-Star and gets the goat. He needs to keep this going. Might be able to put together an entire farm.
Now you saw that picture, Cozart's wife. She gamely played along with the whole donkey thing, but when Votto said, hey, I'll buy you some goats, you go to the next All-Star game, she almost charged the set.
Somebody's got to take care of these animals.
She was not happy with that prospect. Not on board. And as you pointed out, what about a car or a Rolex or something like that?
That's where my mind went. Zach, I got a few ideas if you're throwing things out there for Votto.
Not that livestock is not appreciated. It's just not a form of currency among professional athletes.
It's a gift that keeps on giving in different ways. Somebody's got to take care of those gifts.
Well, Cozart's mom apparently has some land, and it would be a perfect place for Donald. That one misses outside. And here comes Votto. I think the best part of that was listening to Votto. Joey Votto is not a boisterous guy. When he does give an interview, he's very thoughtful. And Votto did it in a very much a deadpan fashion with a twinkle in his eye, knowing that he'd help engineer the whole thing. Cozart walks for the second time. He walked 3 times in last night's ball game. .6-1 Reds. Miami has mustered just 3 hits. Strike. Votto didn't like it. But it was right on the corner.
2 good pitches. First one a changeup at 84 miles an hour. The second one underneath his hands at 91. Sometimes when you're going through slump like Joey Votto's going through, you feel like every time you get in the box, it's an 0-2 count. Fact is.
Didn't go. Not a bad pitch on 0-2. That was up. Adam Duvall is the on-deck hitter. Hamilton at second, Cozart at first. Once the Marlins get into August, it's a heavy dose of the Washington Nationals. Marlins will see the Giants and the Rockies and the Padres all at Marlins Park in August. Twice the Marlins will travel to Washington, D.C. Beginning of the month, end of the month. Full count. Votto measuring that plate. All choked up. Runners on the move on the 3-2. Tight ball game most of the way. Reds picked up 2 in the 5th and have 2 solo homers here in the 6th. So it went from 2-1 to 6-1 pretty quickly. Strike 3 at the knees, at the plate. Votto caught looking again. It's been a tough weekend for Joey Votto, but his Reds are on top. Nick Wickren gets it done. Look at that. That's a strike. Had plenty of the plate. Florida, Southwest Airlines are giving you a chance to win an all-inclusive stay in the Cayman Islands on Labor Day weekend. Time to tweet and hashtag, kids. Hashtag Southwest Summer Days Sweeps. That's plural, Summer Days Sweeps. And then hashtag sponsored. And then once you're all hashtagged out, send it to @FoxSportsFL, @FoxSportsFL. It's your chance to win Southwest Airlines. Trying to stay in the shade as the temperature has gone up here in the last hour with the sun out in Cincinnati. Derek Dietrich, A.J. Ellis, and Ichiro. Sal Romano goes 6. And now Lorenzen whom the Marlins saw the other night, takes over. Michael Lorenzen on this homestand, 4 appearances. He got knocked around in his first appearance, but his next 3 have been good. And Dietrich strikes out. So Michael Lorenzen, not to be confused with Jared Lorenzen, the former Kentucky quarterback across the river.
A.J. Ellis, the only offense for the Marlins this afternoon. Solo shot.
Yeah, Ellis knocked one in the seats. And that's the only dent against Romano.
He thought that ball was down.
Reds have a bizarre road trip coming up. Marlins are just headed to Texas for 3 games, and there's no off day. So after Wednesday night's game, the Marlins are going to fly and then play Brian Price and the Reds. But the Reds will have been in 2 different cities before then. In those 3 days, they've got a makeup game on an interleague series in Cleveland. Then they go to New York for just 2 games. So they lose their off day tomorrow. After that, and that's a 4-game series against the Marlins, they finish with a 3-gamer in Pittsburgh. That's a 4-city 10-game trip. In 11 days.
We'll be picking up some frequent flyer miles along the way. 1, 2, 4, 3. The series. Gonna make up a rain out tomorrow. Then 2, then 4, then 3.
A.J. Ellis cracks one in the gap, right center field. Boy, have a day. Goes to the wall. Ellis trots into second. And maybe being this close to Kentucky has fired Ellis up. Although, you know what? He's having a nice run over the last month. He's been very productive in the starts that he's been able to get.
Well, he certainly has. And one thing that he's been doing a much better job of here lately is not missing those good fastballs when he gets them. Set himself up for that home run, got himself into a hitter's count there, got a fastball where he can get his arms extended. Had no issue with the velocity. Stayed right on it and drove it to right center for a double. So a real nice day for AJ. It's been the one positive story in this Marlins lineup today.
Ichiro has walked and bounced out. In this game, especially over the last 10 to 15 years, with the hitters spinning on balls, we've seen a lot more of guys fouling pitches off their leg, their knee, their ankle, their foot. A scary moment for the Astros the other night. Former Marlin Colin Moran fouled one off his face.
Did not see that.
And he's been placed on the 10-day disabled list. He suffered a facial fracture.
Was he swinging?
It was in Baltimore. His eye is fine, which is good. He tried to stand up afterwards and almost collapsed. They took him right to the hospital. And he, of course, got called up after the injury to Carlos Correa with Houston. Ichiro, sharp ground ball up the middle. Cozart to his left. Gets the out. Ellis is now at third, and here comes Rojas. $20,000 here in Cincinnati on this Sunday. Always a lot of stuff going on here. We told you there was a great event in and around the city, headquartered in the team hotel. The Wounded Veterans Wheelchair Games national event was here. And we have confirmed that those fireworks were from across the river. Liner to right field, and it falls for a hit. And Rojas knocks in Ellis. Rojas going to head to second. The ball bobbled there by Schebler in right. It's going to be a single, an RBI, and an E9. And the Marlins are going to get an at-bat here for Marcell Ozuna.
Good approach by Rojas. So many times we see him go the other way with a fastball down the middle. A little bit late, but does a nice job lining it to right. Stays inside, picks up the RBI, able to move to second on the bobble.
So Ozuna, an off day for him. And now called upon to pitch hit. And of course, you see two pitches, and they're two good ones on the outside corner. And it's 0-2. Brian Ellington has been up a couple of times. Ozuna off the end of the bat. That's going to roll into center field. Rojas will score. And a pinch hit RBI single for Ozuna. And Miami adds a couple of runs here in the 7th. Nicely done.
Ozuna needed to find his slot. That slot right back through the middle. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball away, stays on it, gets just enough off the end of the bat and squeaks it past the middle infielders. And at times it's better to be a little slow off the bat than it is to be a rocket. And I think in that case, it certainly helped Rojas come around and score.
Brings up D. Gordon. Ozuna the runner at first base.
This Reds bullpen is very vulnerable on the homestand.
And their best arm is up, Raciel Iglesias.
I think this is still a very manageable ball game for the Marlins to get themselves all the way back into. They still have plenty of time. Relievers, Reds relievers coming into today's ball game, 6 ERA on the homestand. 11 home runs in 40 innings.
Not a big lead for Ozuna. 2-1 to Gordon. Goes on to first in time, but Miami up off the canvas adds a couple, and this ball game in the 7th inning stretch, 6-3 Cincinnati.
In 2004, and it serves to tell the stories of freedom's heroes like Harriet Tubman. Tubman herself was born into slavery and was able to escape. After that, she used the Underground Railroad to lead more than 13 missions to save 70+ families from slavery. So if you have a chance to come to Cincinnati, be sure to not only take in a ball game, but come and get a history lesson as well.
All right, thank you, Jess. We understand that the upcoming series against the Reds in Marlins Park, Jess will have a longer feature on that really important and fascinating museum here in Cincinnati. MLB.com at bat, #1 mobile app for live Major League Baseball. Stay connected with the Marlins. App features include game day, video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. You get alerts. Who doesn't need more alerts in life, right? Adam Conley, Martin Perez is the matchup. Conley, second start since rejoining the rotation. Perez with an ERA of 4.72, and that's at the ballpark in Arlington. Two great hitters' environments, Cincinnati and Texas. Brian Ellington in for the Fish.
Ellington's numbers: AAA New Orleans, 2.28 ERA. Good strikeout totals. Walks the main issue here at the major league level.
Adam Duvall first for the Reds. You got Scooter Gennett and Eugenio Suarez to follow. This was a Tom Kohler start for Miami. 5 2/3. Six total runs, 5 of them earned on 9 hits for Kohler. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 3 home runs. And that hits Duvall. That breaking ball is something that Brian Ellington has been trying to master over the last few years.
Yeah, and this is what he's working on. And you think back to his first time up with the club, it's what was really missing. Fastball velocity is there. He's got a great arm. Really needs a consistent breaking ball to go along with 98, 99 mile an hour fastball.
Jeanette has driven in 2 with 2 hits, and he's lined out. It was a healthy cut. His homer came in the 4th, and he had an RBI single in the 5th. Oakland beating the Mets right now in the 6th in New York, 2-1. And the Phillies are beating the Brewers again, 6-2. Milwaukee finally beat them last night, and that snapped a 6-game losing streak for the Brewers, trying to hold off the charging Cubs, who were just a game back. Cubs have the night game tonight against St. Louis. But it's 6-2 Phillies, bottom 5 in Philly.
The Cubs yesterday roared back, down 2-0 in the 8th. That went back from the Cardinals 3-2.
Pitch out, and Duvall wasn't going anywhere.
Scooter Gennett RBI single his last time up, now a career high in the month of July. That's how good he's been for the Cincinnati Reds team. 57 RBIs on the season. I wonder he is the everyday answer for Brian Price and the Reds.
Well, the Marlins must have thought they had a sign or had a really good tendency on a scouting report for the Reds to pitch out 0-2. Duvall's stolen just 5 bases this year. Now Ellington has gone from 0-2 after pitching out to throw 2 more balls, and it's 3-2.
You trust that Gennett will put the ball in play, you're more likely to start him up now. The ball does not run much.
Let's see if he goes. Ellington ready. He's running. Still 3-2. Runner goes, and another foul ball back. Reds in control of this one ever since that 5th inning, and then the home runs in the 6th made it a 6-1 ball game. Nobody out. Duvall should be running again.
Steps off, trying to shorten up that lead just a little bit on Duvall.
On the move, Gordon. Did he get him? Yes. That's not easy to do with a runner going. Gordon was still able to get it to Rojas and get the out at second.
Nicely done by the double play combo up the middle today. D. Gordon Ground ball takes him towards second base, so good momentum moving towards Rojas, who was waiting for the ball on the bag. As they get that out at second. Easy throw across the diamond. Double play.
Suarez, Gordon's sunglasses shining, makes the catch, and Ellington gets through the 7th. We're headed to the Fox Sports studios after this timeout. Yet though, not till the plane touches down tonight. Thank you, Craig. All right, here's Giancarlo. One of the traditions the Marlins started when they came to Cincinnati was visiting the House of Adam, which was a fine clothier in downtown Cincinnati. And Giancarlo Stan, Alex Sanabia making an appearance with Ricky Nolasco, AJ Ramos. That was year 1. Here's year 2. Josh Johnson, Chris Volstad, Nolasco, and Stanton. That was a really fun tradition. Final day of the road trip. Everybody would go by, pick out an outfit.
Now I know where you get your traveling suits.
That's right. Well, not anymore. It's closed.
Closed?
Yes. What? On my donut journey this morning, I walked right by the former House of Adam. Jose Peraza is in the ballgame. He's at second base.
You're telling me the zoot suit has gone out of style? I don't believe so.
Nothing's gone out of style if you can wear it the way those guys wore it.
Very fashionably.
Stylish.
Just like you do.
That's right.
My particular favorite for you is your purple one.
The ones with the sequins?
That's the one.
And the velvet vest I wear underneath it. 1-2. Iglesias, we saw the other night, the Marlins got a good look at him as well. Just a quality arm, triple digits in terms of velocity. Miami got a couple hits against him, Ichiro and D. Gordon. Here's his 2-2. Breaking ball, Stanton hits it up the middle. That's where Peraza is playing. And there's an out here in the 8th inning.
I don't know how this will play itself out. Iglesias has 5 career 2-out saves. 5-out save and a 4-out save, so he's done this before. As we've mentioned many times throughout the series, the Reds desperately need a victory as they have struggled mightily on their homestand.
Marlins know how that feels and how that sounds. Because the Marlins homestand against the Dodgers and the Phillies was not a thing of beauty. Miami won 1 of the 6 games. The thing about this Reds homestand is just the amazing amount of offense and damage they've allowed for their opponents. In a 10-game homestand, they've allowed 23 homers, which is a new Reds record. The old record was 19. And they have allowed 72 runs. This is the 10th game of the homestand.
Oh, what's even more surprising, I believe, is the fact that Reds offense hasn't countered to some extent. I think the run differential is almost 50 runs on this homestand.
Here is Justin Bour. As we noted, the Reds are about to play the Indians. It's one thing about baseball with the interleague, they've tried to affix names or trophies or things to interleague series. The Citrus series never really has taken off, I think, as many had hoped. Well, the Reds and the Indians play for the Ohio Cup. I saw a note the other night on Johnny Bench in his Hall of Fame career, and he broke 7 cups, it said, over the course of his career. I didn't know they kept track of that on Baseball Reference.
Me neither.
But that was up on the scoreboard talking about Bench and his long career. Not to be confused with the Ohio Cup. Not a protective device. Is the Ohio Cup. And the most outstanding player in Ohio Cup history for the Cincinnati Reds, Adam Dunn. 20 at-bats, 5 homers. There is Johnny Bench. And a strike.
Always good to have a bunch of Ohio Cup knowledge.
Well, look, it's you try to sprinkle in a little this and a little that, right? The way this one is going, Bour's feet trying to survive this at bat.
Oof. Off the instep. Front leg.
That's what was so scary about the Colin Moran injury. It was a swing on a pitch that was in, and it came from barrel of the bat in a weird angle, went right up into that left eye area. Bour ropes this one into right center field. That's going to the wall. Actually, it hits the bottom of the wall, and it got there so quickly. Hamilton has a good arm, and I think Bour's foot is not feeling real well. He's going to settle for a single.
I'm not sure he gets a double either way. He hit this ball so hard off the center field wall. Billy Hamilton quickly chases it down. Watch how fast Billy Hamilton gets this in. Great swing. We've seen it many times throughout this series. Justin Bour almost dialed in that lane right there. Hamilton got this ball in really quick. Justin Bour was just about to first base as that throw was coming in.
Dietrich pops it up. Suarez is there, and he makes the catch. A Bour single. Only thing to show for the 8th. He's not moving real well. 6-3. Reds on top. Great shots from our Fox Sports Florida drone flying over the river. Good look at the Great American Ballpark. Not been a great park for the Marlins today. Dustin McGowan is in. The long ball for the Reds has arrived. 3 solo homers. Scooter Gennett, Eugenio Suarez, and Tucker Barnhart have done the damage. Dustin McGowan is the 3rd reliever in. Wickren, Ellington, and now McGowan gets Scott Schebler, Barnhart, and the pitcher spot.
First appearance for Dustin McGowan in this series. So the 2.92 ERA, that is best out of the Marlins bullpen right now. He's had a really strong season. Variety of roles. 8th inning, the responsibility here today.
McGowan misses out. We've talked about teams that, like the Marlins or the Reds, have a record of under 500. And the trading deadline coming up. And I noted that the Marlins are scheduled to see Yu Darvish on Wednesday. That'd be D. Gordon yelling for it and catching it. Well, Yu Darvish's name is one of the top names out there in terms of trade targets for contending teams that want to get themselves a frontline starting pitcher. The Dodgers, according to our friend J.P. Morosi, John Morosi. Yu Darvish is on their radar. So who knows, by the time you get to Wednesday, Yu Darvish may be a Dodger.
Well, the clock is ticking. This is the last week up until the deadline, non-waivers.
Did you ever make it through waivers to get traded?
I did.
That happened.
I believe. I mean, I had one time I got traded. I believe it was here. In fact, late in my career.
And late in the year.
Yeah, it was an August trade. It was not. So that's waivers for sure.
Here's Barnhart, and by the way, Peraza is on deck. He came in the double switch, so he's hitting 9th. That happens more than people realize in baseball. Is trades after the non-waiver deadline. Essentially, teams after the deadline that want to trade a player have to place them on waivers. If a player is claimed by another team, you can A, let that player go to that team, and that team absorbs all the salary. B, call that team and say, all right, you're interested in Todd Hollandsworth. What is a Hollandsworth? What are you gonna
wow.
What are you
all the way to July, huh?
What are you gonna what are you gonna offer us? What are you gonna do?
That's right.
What are you gonna offer us for that? And you can work out a trade that way, or you can pull the player back off waivers just once and say he's too valuable. We just wanted to gauge who was interested out there. Center field, Yelich going back is there and makes the catch. And here comes Peraza.
Sometimes what ends up happening is you'll have a particular player. There'll be some interest, maybe limited interest, but if he has a hefty salary that goes along with it, somewhat predictably, he'll clear waivers. Teams won't be inclined to take on all of that salary. Remember, if you've got a player that's made $50, $100 million left on his deal, the team has to absorb that.
And every now and then you'll see a contending team who feels like that player could help an opponent or a team that's challenging them for a postseason spot, will essentially claim a player trying to block that player from going to the rival. Peraza pops it up. Bohr, and D. Gordon calls him off and makes the catch. Busy inning for D out there with the pop-ups. On to the 9th in Cincinnati. It's 6-3 Reds. Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Really nice day for that here in Cincinnati. Marlins fans concerned here. Chance to sweep the Reds coming into today after winning Friday and Saturday. Here today, though, the Reds had a 6-1 lead. It's 6-3 now. And you were wondering about Iglesias and a 2-inning save. And here he is to pitch the ninth.
A.J. Ellis, best day for the Marlins. 2 for 3, a ringing double his last time up. Solo homer. Back in the 4th inning. Real nice approach.
Ball and a strike. You got Ichiro and Rojas. And in the pitcher spot. Breaking ball rolled out to short. Cozart, if he can get there, will make every play. Very steady shortstop. Bonefish Grill. Every ball game brings you a bang bang catch of the game. This would be it. Adam Duvall.
A couple of different times went into the wall this series. Makes a nice running catch right there. A little circle route, but able to come up with it.
For great fish, great cocktails, and great times, head to Bonefish Grill. Ichiro takes a strike. And so Ellis bounces out, and Iglesias has 4 outs. He did give up a hit to Justin Bour, and it says single, but it was a line drive that went about 385 feet at the base of the wall out in right center field. Ichiro flares one to left, and Duvall is there. And the last shot for Miami here on this Sunday is Miguel Rojas. Tomorrow night, hope you're with us in Texas, deep in the heart. Adam Conley, Martin Perez. .30 for Marlins Live. A Tuesday night and Wednesday night game as well. Marlins will see Cole Hamels and Yu Darvish in the next 2 games of that series. Rojas getting a look at Iglesias. Reds got a really nice start from their rookie right-hander Sal Romano. Carl Pavano would be proud. The Southington product gave up just a run, struck out 7. One and 2.
Rojas, one of the best 2-strike hitters on this Marlins team. Batting average up near 300.
Down he goes.
Today.
6-out save. 2 innings worth from Raciel Iglesias. And the Marlins lose the finale here. They win the series. Friday and Saturday night wins, but a Sunday loss. Solo homer sink the fish. 6-3 Reds. Back after this.